There are discoveries that fit neatly inside the pages of history, and then there are those that tear the pages apart. Across deserts, deep within mines, beneath ancient ruins, and locked inside stones older than civilization itself, lie objects that simply do not make sense. Objects that rewrite timelines. Objects that challenge everything we believe about who we are and who came before us. Tonight, you and I will explore 7 of the most mysterious artifacts ever found. Real discoveries, real puzzles, real anomalies that experts still cannot explain. So take a breath and step with me into the deeper shadow of our world, where the forgotten past whispers through impossible objects left behind. In the scorching mines of Ottosdal, South Africa, miners began uncovering small metallic-looking spheres. Some had smooth surfaces, others bore perfectly carved girth lines, like someone had etched grooves around their circumference with intention and precision. These objects were unusual, yes, but what made them extraordinary was their age. They were embedded inside geological layers dated to over 2.8 billion years old. That's billions, not millions. Billions of years before humans existed. Billions of years before complex life. Billions of years before anything capable of crafting something had walked the earth. Geologists insisted they were natural mineral concretions, but metallurgists examining their composition disagreed. Some spheres were made of materials resembling nickel-steel alloys that do not naturally form with such symmetry. And then there was the balance test. One sphere, now stored in a museum in Klerksdorp, is so perfectly weighted that when placed on a flat surface, it remains completely balanced, resisting movement even when pushed. A property unnatural for random mineral formation. Were they the result of unknown natural processes, or evidence of an ancient intelligence lost in the abyss of Earth's earliest history? To this day, no one can answer with certainty. In 1936, a couple exploring Red Creek stumbled upon something bizarre. A rock nodule cracked open, revealing a hammer embedded inside it. The handle was petrified. The metal head was still intact. Scientists brought the rock to the lab, and the tests were shocking. The rock encasing the hammer was dated to 400 million years old. Of course, skeptics argued the rock may have formed around the hammer much later, but 2 things refused to be ignored. First, the metal head was made of iron so pure it still confuses metallurgists. The composition, 96% pure iron with chlorine and sulfur, is unlike any known ancient smelting process. In fact, modern engineers have difficulty reproducing that structure. And second, the petrified wooden handle showed internal crystallization, something that requires extreme time under pressure, likely hundreds of thousands to millions of years. So which possibility is more unbelievable? A hammer millions of years old, or a modern hammer that mysteriously fused with ancient rock? The London hammer stands silent, as if waiting for the right moment to reveal its truth. In 1974, workers digging near the Mureş River unearthed 3 objects. 2 were bones, believed to belong to a mastodon, a prehistoric animal extinct for more than 10,000 years. But the 3rd object did not belong there. It was a wedge-shaped metallic artifact
with ridges and angles resembling a piece of machinery, almost like a modern-day aircraft component. Lab analysis revealed something staggering. It was made of 89 to 90% aluminum. But aluminum was not produced by humans until the 19th century because it requires advanced electrochemical refinement. So how did a piece of refined aluminum end up buried next to bones from the Ice Age? Some researchers proposed it was part of an ancient tool. Others speculated it might be evidence of early lost technology. More radical theories suggested it could have belonged to an aerial or mechanical object, man-made or otherwise. Whatever the truth, the I-U wedge remains one of archaeology's most persistent anomalies. In 1901, sponge divers exploring the sea near the island of Antikythera found a shipwreck, and inside they discovered a corroded lump of bronze. When it was cleaned and examined, scientists were stunned. The object contained interlocking gears, precision axles, and intricate mechanisms. Over 30 gears, some with teeth finer than those in watches made in the 1800s. This device was 2,000 years old, and yet it functioned as a complex astronomical calculator, accurately predicting planetary motions, eclipses, and lunar cycles. Nothing like this existed again for over 1,000 years. How did ancient Greeks possess knowledge that would not reappear until the Renaissance? Was this the remnant of a lost engineering tradition, a lone genius, or a surviving fragment from a civilization whose technology faded into history? The Antikythera mechanism forces historians to reconsider everything they thought they knew about ancient science. In a museum in Baghdad sits a simple clay jar. Inside it, a copper cylinder. Inside that, an iron rod. When scientists filled replicas with vinegar or grape juice, something unexpected happened. It produced electricity. This small device, possibly 2,200 years old, may have been the world's first battery. But why? What were ancient people using electricity for? Some believe it was used for electroplating, the process of coating metals with gold or silver. Others insist it could have had religious or medicinal uses. A few historians dare to speculate that it represents lost knowledge, forgotten for millennia. Whatever its purpose, one thing is certain: the Baghdad battery defies the limits we assign to ancient civilizations. Ancient Hebrew texts speak of an object called the shamir. It was said to cut through stone effortlessly, silently, cleanly, without heat or sparks. According to legends, the builders of Solomon's temple were forbidden from using iron tools, yet massive stones were shaped with perfect precision. The shamir was their solution. Some describe it as a living creature, others as a luminous crystal. A few modern researchers suggest it might have been a small piece of naturally radioactive mineral capable of breaking down stone at a microscopic level. No physical shamir has ever been found, but the legends persist because the stonework it supposedly created still exists today. Impossibly precise, resistant to weathering, unmatched by tools of that era. Was it myth, or the remnant of a real lost technology? The line between the two grows thinner with every discovery. In 1961, 3 rock collectors found a peculiar object inside a geode-like stone. When they cut it open, they were stunned. Inside was a metal cylinder with a central core, closely resembling a modern spark plug. The stone surrounding it was estimated to be 500,000 years old. 500,000 years, long before humans, long before tools, long before anything capable of crafting a device existed. Theories exploded. Some insisted it was proof of ancient advanced civilizations. Others believed it was evidence of time travelers. A few argued that dating was simply incorrect, but no one could explain how a modern spark plug structure could grow inside natural stone. The Koso artifact remains one of the most controversial discoveries ever recorded, a perfect example of an object that should not exist, but does. Across continents, in centuries, these 7 artifacts whisper the same